Britishers came to India, how they develop their business into India, how they get prosperous through India. In this segment, we are going to discuss about what are the movement or what are the consequences which took place at the time of freedom fight. Introduction. During their stay in India, Britishers became familiar with political condition of India. British East India Company took advantage of political dispute or internal weakness of India and from 1757, after creeping into Bengal to especially of 1857 AD, it is established its supremacy over India in its 100 years of rule. In order to maintain this supremacy, the English gradually developed a strong administrative structure in the country. Through this administrative structure, common laws, common administration and a legal system according to British system came into existence. Yet English residing in India established such a law and administration that England would get more benefits. At the cost of India, they made England prosperous and exploited India the most. So, જ્યારે બ્રિટિશર્સ આવ્યા ત્યારે એ લોકોને એક ટાઈપનો આઈડિયા આવી હતો કે ઇન્ડિયાના જે લોકો છે એનું એડમિનિસ્ટ્રેશન ત્યારે રાજા રજવાડા હતા, તો ઇન્ટરનલ ડિસ્પ્યુટ હતા, એટલે જે કિંગડમ્સ હતા નાના નાના પ્રિન્સલી સીટ્સ હતા એ અંદરથી ખોખલા હતા, તો અલગ અલગ પોલિસીસને લઈને આવ્યા અને મેક્સિમમ ગેઇન એ લોકોએ મેળવ્યું. ધ ગ્રેટ નેશનલ uprising of 1857. Some of the factors that caused uprising of 1857 જ્યારે Battle of Plassey થઈ હતી, were political dissatisfaction, economic exploitation, social and religious factor, military factor, immediate reasons like induction of infantry rifle in army. Mangal Pandey was the first marcher of uprising. Several revolutions like Nana Sahib, Tatya Tope, Raja Umar Singh, Rani Lakshmibai, Bahadur Shah Jafar, etc. took part in it. The uprising of 1857 produced many effects, among which are the end of company rule in India, the rule of British Crown that is ruled by Queen Victoria, change in administrative, military, social, religious policy. The reason responsible for failure of 1857 uprising are the beginning of uprising before the planned time, lack of central leadership, insufficient, insophisticated weapon, importance of self-centered interest, then nationalism among the revolutionaries, lack of suitable and organized leadership. You have already studied in detail in this previous class. તો તમે લોઅર સ્ટાન્ડર્ડની અંદર ઓલરેડી સ્ટડી કરી ગયા કે શું રીઝન હતું. મંગલ પાંડે છે he was the first one to fight, કારણ કે પિગ છે એના મીટમાંથી બનાવેલી જે રાઇફલ્સનું કેપ હતું એ જનરલી મુસ્લિમ્સ એઝ વેલ એઝ હિન્દુઝે પોતાના મોઢાથી કટ કરવાનું હતું. સર્ટેન એનિમલનું બીફ જે છે ઇવન ઇન મુસ્લિમ રિલિજન ઇઝ ઓલ્સો નોટ અલાઉડ. So Mangal Pandey કરીને એક મૂવી બી છે, that you can see what kind of contribution he had given to it. So these even other Rani Lakshmibai, they all have contributed in this particular battle. But the thing was, there is no unification, and the fight or uprising started before it is planned. So these two are the main reason due to which it cannot halt. Boycott and indigenous movement. Boycott and indigenous movement along with Banghan movement, which is in 1905. 1905 में अंदर एक रूल एक ट्रीटी पास थયું. अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट इंडिया ने अंदर बेंगोल જેને આપણે કહીએ છીએ એનો અડધો પાર્ટ છે, while Bangladesh is the rest part of it. It is called Paschim Bengal. The Purvi Bengal or rest part of the Bengal was separated. Was one of the important events of Indian national movement because of divide and rule policy. As a result of Britishers' Machiavellian policy, boycott and indigenous movement got impetus. Bengal was a big province at that time of British rule, which included at present Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. Compared to other states, Bengal was central national awakening. The engines and through the national movement came from Bengal in 1857 revolt. Hindus and Muslims has collectively fought the English. That's why through the English strategy of divide and rule, they encouraged communalism, caused division among the people. At that time, people have somehow managed to do this casteism or communism, and due to on the basis of this communication, they have applied this rule, divide and rule. So they divided people on the basis of community. Viceroy Curzon divided the West Bengal province into East Bengal and West Bengal in the name bringing about administrative efficiency. तो वर्क વધારે સારી રીતે થઈ શકે એટલા માટે બે પાર્ટની અંદર ડિવાઇડ કરી દીધા. There was a strong opposition to the division of Bengal. When Bengal was divided on 16th of October 1905, whole Bengal observed the day of National Mourning Day. The same day, announcement about boycotting all foreign goods, encouragement to use indigenous food was made not merely Bengalis but other Indians also began to believe that division had been done, curtail the vociferous feeling of nationalism that was catching up in India. That day, Hindus and Muslims tied Rakhi to each other in the entire Bengal to express their unity. This movement had three major characteristics: adopt indigenous product, boycott foreign goods, and adopt national education. So, even I होतं की लोगोंने इंग्लिश लोगों जेवूं थवुं हतुं, एનું एज्युकेशन લેવું હતું, એ ફોરેન વસ્તુઓ આવવાની હતી. But after this, they have started this campaign. In this campaign, they are boycotting all the foreign ની કોઈ પણ વસ્તુ યુઝ નહોતા કરતા. સ્કૂલ્સની અંદર જે અહીંયાની ઇન્ડિયાની જે ફોર્મલ સ્કૂલ્સ હતી ત્યાં પોતાના કિડને મોકલવા માંડ્યા. ફોરેનથી કાંઈ સામાન નહોતા લેતા, ખાલી સ્વદેશી પ્રોડક્ટ્સ યુઝ કરતા હતા. So this kind of change was happening. India benefited a lot due to Swadeshi movement, while English industries was badly affected due to boycott of foreign goods. The cloth coming from Manchester stopped, sugar, shoes, cigarette, tobacco, etc. imported from England also reduced, and sale of cloth made in India increased. Factories of making indigenous goods were started. The effect of movement was felt in other provinces of India like Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Mumbai, Madras, etc. Besides Bengal, the echo of the Swadeshi movement was felt in Gujarat too. The echo of movement was also felt strongly in the British Parliament. Within 6 years, the division of Bengal was scrapped after rethinking by the Parliament. This was the memorable victory by the Indians, a victory of relentless united efforts. This was noteworthy victory of the new awakening against the English rule. So this was the first thing that was gained by the opposing, and somehow people would believe that if we unite together, if we go together, then we can achieve, we can boycott this Britishers' Muslim League. By adopting divide and rule policy, English wants to create conflict between Hindus and Muslims. The Viceroys Lord Minto and Indian Wazir or Diwan morally together planned to crush the Indian nationalism. When the national flag becomes stronger, when the national fight becomes stronger, the English began to favor the upper class of Muslims. English become successful in convincing group of Muslims that they must form a Muslim organization to demand for separate voting right and separate voting center. As a result, Muslim League was formed. Religious head of Muslim, Aga Khan, Nawab of Dhaka, Salimullah Khan, Viceroy Minto, and his personal minister, Dunlop Smith, had played an important role in the establishment of organization. In order to stop Muslims from attending annual conference of Congress, annual conference of Muslim League was arranged on the same day as that of Congress. Thus, demand of separate representation is not the brainchild of Muslim but the English policy. Minto started the policy of linking Muslim as an associate. That's why many writers consider Minto as a father of Muslim communalism. A historian also goes to extent of saying the real creator of Pakistan was not Muhammad Ali Jinnah or Rahimullah, but Minto. Since then, conflict between Hindu and Muslims increased and resulted in the division of India. If you have any consequences, તમારી ફ્રેન્ડ સાથે કોઈ ઝઘડો હોય તો ટ્રાય કરવાની કોશિશ કરજો કે સ્ટાર્ટિંગ પાર્ટની અંદર એ ઝઘડો સાવ નાની એવી વાતને લઈને હશે, પછી એ માણસની દરેક વાત તમને ખોટી લાગતી જાય. સો સેમ એવું જ કંઈક થયું કે મુસ્લિમ લીગને ઇન્ટ્રોડ્યુસ કરવામાં આવી કે તમારું સેપરેટ સેન્ટર અને સેપરેટ વોટિંગ થવું જોઈએ એના માટે. અને દેન આફ્ટર એક પછી એક એવી કોન્સિક્વન્સીસ મિન્ટોએ જનરેટ કરી કે જેના કારણે ઇંગ્લિશ હિન્દુ અને મુસ્લિમ જે એક સમયે ટુગેધર હતા બે સાથે મળી અને બંગનો ઓપોઝ કર્યો એ હવે સેપરેટ થઈ ગયા. Birth and development of extreme revolutionary movement. This is a very important and very fascinating part. Okay, at that time when someone is observing you all the time, at that time how you do this revolutionary activity. આપણને ત્યારે ખબર છે બધાના પેરેન્ટ્સ ચેક કરતા હોય કે તમે વિડિયો જોવો છો કે નહીં જોવો છો કે નહીં. At that time you somehow manage to escape from doing work that you are supposed to do. But at that time they need the freedom of thought, freedom of doing work and etc. like Britishers. So they have raised their voice in such a way that Britishers could not sense it. The revolutionary activity in India was started by Vasudev Balahardi. Revolutionary like Damodar Chapelkar, Balakrishna Chapelkar brothers, Veer Savarkar, Barindranath Ghosh, Khudarim Ghosh, Praful Jaki, Ram Prasad Vishwan, Ashfaqullah Khan, Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagat Singh, Shivram Rajguru, Shukdev, Batukeshwar Dutt, Roshan Singh, etc. carried out a torch of nationalism. Youth trained in making and using weapons were constant threat for the English government. So these revolutionaries were a young blood of India, and they were so much into this revolutionary activity. They somehow learned how to create a bomb, how to create a weapons, and they were continuous threat for this government. Fierce revolutionary movement began in India and spread in other countries as well. Circumstances in its background were the cancellation of partition of Bengal, partition of two groups, that is Jahal, that is radicals, and Mawad, that is moderates, at the Congress conference in Surat, and terrific opposition to practice of Congress of making only resolution and request. Lal Bal Pal tribe-adapted radical attitude which brought new life in India, in young India activity. Lethargic policy of Indian National Congress got solid new turn. So you can see the picture of some of this person. You can Google it and you can gain some more information beyond this book from the Google obviously. So these were the people, and now people know that just by requesting, just by pleasing them, we are not going to get our rights back, our independence back. So for that they need to find, and the young blood of India has selected this kind of policy. Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak declared it firmly, freedom is my birthright and I will achieve it anyhow. This became a maxim for the revolutionary freedom fighters. At that time, a group of Indian youth undertook activity to seek freedom from the foreigner rule. The extreme revolutionaries were more than happy to sacrifice their life for the motherland. They could give up their lives and take lives in order to attain freedom. Now this revolutionary activity was so much into blood, the people were ready to die for the country or take life of others for the country or for the freedom of the country. Revolutionary activity spread in Maharashtra, Bengal Rajasthan, Madras province, Uttar Pradesh and central India. Among these activities were some like Mitra Mela Society. So this activity has name something like the foreigners cannot detect with the name what kind of thing is going on in this particular gathering. Mitra Mela Society, Abhinav Bharat Samaj, Anushila Samiti, Anjuman e Muhila Vetan, Indian Patriots Association, later Bharat Mata, Indian Patriot Association, આ છે કે ભાઈ હા મધરલેન્ડ ને રિલેટેડ કંઈક છે, and thus gave impetus to revolutionary activities. In the first stage, newspapers and magazines like Yugandhar, Navshakti, Vande Mataram, Keshri, Maratha gave constant strength to the activity. About 34 revolutionaries were prosecuted in the Alipur massacre. Several revolutionaries were arrested in Howrah massacre, Dhaka massacre. Attempt to kill Lord Harding by throwing a dropping bomb on Viceroy Minto on November 13, 1909 outside Raipur Darwaja in Ahmedabad can all be given as an example of this. In second stage, event like Kokri loot case, Lahore massacre and dropping of bomb of Central Parliament Delhi took place. You have already studied about other revolutionary engaged in this all activity. तो आज Central Parliament ની અંદર જે બોમ્બ પ્લાન્ટ કરવામાં હતો, that was done by Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and this group of the people. So this kind of achievement was done by the revolutionary at that particular time. Fierce revolutionary movement in Gujarat. Sri Aurobindo Bose was a pioneer of armed revolution in Gujarat. Armed એટલે હથિયાર સાથેની લડાઈમાં. But he remained behind the curtains. His brother Brinda Kumar Ghosh always remained in the forefront. He arrived in Gujarat, moved toward the southern part, and he met Sri Choto Bhai, Sri Ambu Bhai Puran, with able companion. Sakarya Swami met him on the bank of Narmada. This Swami was associated with Queen of Jhansi at the time of the Rowlatt 1857. Brinda Kumar involved some of the middle class youth from Vadodara, Charotar region, that is Kheda, Ahmedabad and Mehsana in revolution. In relation to this activity, buggy of Viceroy Minto was bombed outside Raipur Darwaja in Ahmedabad. Sri Aurobindo Bose described a scheme of revolution in his book named Bhavani Mandir. It was also translated into Gujarati and published in journal Dakshina. Beside this booklet with titles like Desi Vanaspati Dawao, Nahwana Sabu Banavani Reet, Kasrat, Gulabno Kisso, Kaidano Sangrah, etc. were published in order to spread thought of revolution so Britishers would understand. This booklet containing methods of preparing bombs. Ganganath Vidyalaya was established near Chandor, Karnali, where secret revolutionary activities were carried out. Many Gujarati youth joined in revolutionary activities. Against them, stern action was taken by government, but the fight did not stop and finally government realized the suppression would not help to rule over India. So, at least smartness of the revolutionary અરવિંદોએ જે કોઈ પણ લેખ લખતા હતા, revolutionary article લખતા હતા, એવું છે કે તમને ખાલી એક વખત કહે કે ભણી લ્યો તમે આ થઈ જશો તો તમે ભણવા નથી માંડવાના કન્ટિન્યુઅસલી. તમને થોડુંક થોડુંક રોજ એક ઇન્સ્પિરેશનની જરૂર છે, થોડુંક થોડુંક ઇન્સ્પિરેશન. આ ઇન્સ્પિરેશન અરવિંદો પોતાના લેખ થ્રુ આપતા હતા. બટ જો ક્લિયરલી એમ કે બોમ્બ બનાવવાની રીત તો બ્રિટિશર્સ એને પબ્લિશ ના થવા દે, સ્પ્રેડ ના થવા દે, તો શું કર્યું? હેડિંગ એવા રાખ્યું કે જેનાથી ખબર ના પડે કે અંદર કન્ટેન્ટ શું હોય. તો એક રીતે બ્રિટિશર્સની આંખોની અંદર શું કે આંખોની નીચેથી જ ચોરી કરતા હતા અને બ્રિટિશર્સ વર નોટ એબલ ટુ ડિટેક્ટ.